coming to you from Las Vegas. This is known as Warzone Live, Monday through Friday. Now it's 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Great to be with you. All kinds of things happening. Economic issues are my number one thing. Border issues are my number one thing. DEI issues are my number one thing. We had Don Trump Jr. yesterday, and we finish up with Laura Trump today. Laura, Wayne Allyn, how are you? We got a big guest and a great interview today with Dr. Oz with us right now.
Good to see you. I like your tie, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Great to see you. Always great to have you on the show.
Wayne Allyn Root, happy to see you again on the cutting edge of things on your show, whether it's medical, political, you name it, you're on top of it. So just great to hear that. Great to hear that.
So wonderful to be with you again, Wayne. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you tonight.
It's great to see you, Wayne. How you been?
Anytime, Wayne. Great to see you.
Hey, Wayne. Great to see you, brother.
Hey, Wayne. Good to be with you.
Wayne, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Lots going on.
Doing great, Wayne. Glad to be here.
Well, thanks, Wayne. I don't see myself as a hero. I'm just trying to keep this community safe.
This is The War Zone, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. 2.5 million unique daily readers. Also on Rumble under Wayne Root, Wayne Allyn Root, or Warzone. Then on weekends, we got our big show, America's Top 10 Countdown on Real America's Voice TV. Well, everybody else is giving opinions. I give solutions. And some of them Trump takes, some of them he doesn't. I wish he'd take all of them. This is the Wayne Stream Media. No more mainstream media allowed in. Only Wayne Stream Media, meaning raw truth and in-your-face mother trucker information. The Root's on fire. Welcome to my show, Warzone Live. Monday through Friday, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific.
Warning! The Root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Qatar says, action! Action! We're on! Let's talk to our guest, Dr. Peter McCullough, world-renowned physician and scientist, chief scientific officer at the Wellness Company. Great company. Talk about lifesavers. I just bought a kit from them that has all kinds of antibiotics in it and ivermectin in it. I bought that kit. No, I don't get things like that free, or I could, but I went and bought it online. I paid my money and I bought it because I want to make sure my wife and I have the latest antibiotics if something goes wrong. His website is standing for The Wellness Company, is twc.health. The Wellness Company, twc.health. He is Mr. Health. Dr. Peter McCullough, my buddy. How you doing, Peter?
Great to see you again, Wayne.
Yes, I bought that kit you guys sell, and I just, you never know. I don't get sick, but you never know. One day I could get sick, and I want to make sure I'm ready because I just celebrated my 65th birthday, and you know what? Things are a little different when you're 65 than when you're 40, and so for the last 30 years, I've been on a great run. I've been sick 3 times in the last 30 years with minor colds. But you never know, now that I'm 65, what hits you strong. And so I wanted to make sure I had your kit in hand. So thank you for coming up with a beautiful kit like that.
A good move, Wayne. I know you're proactive. You and Cindy are in, really exquisite health. And you should enjoy your 60s and 70s. I'm right there with you. But let me tell you what, you're going to need that kit because America is in the middle of a cyclospora outbreak.
So tell me about this cyclospora outbreak. What is it about? What is cyclospora? How did they get it? How do you treat it? How bad is it going to get?
Cyclospora is a protozoa. It's like a parasite. It's in water. It tends to live in stagnant pond water. It can be in dirty water that they use to water lettuce down in Mexico. And it's epidemiologically been linked to Taylor Farms, which is shipping lettuce. At first, it was thought to be just Taco Bell, but wait a minute. They ship lettuce to Kroger and Meijer and all the grocery stores, the big chains out there, all the Yum brands, which operate a lot of fast food restaurants. And the lettuce got contaminated. People are getting sick. And this can be explosive watery diarrhea, cramping, dehydration for a month. But it can be stopped. It must be stopped with treatment with trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole, which is Bactrim or Septra. This is a generic antibiotic, and so it's in your emergency medical kit. So we're telling patients, we've all been briefed on this at the Wellness Company. In fact, a family has this in my office today, that they need to start treatment immediately with the trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole. Don't wait for a stool test. It's going to take too long. We know what this is. Empirically treat.
So what do you do if you're like my beautiful wife, Cindy, who is allergic to sulfur and can't take sulfa drugs? What do you do then?
Well, there at the Wellness Company, our doctors would prescribe a second-line drug, either nitrous oxide or there's some other drugs that could be used. Trimethoprim, sulfamethoxazole is the best, but we'll use a secondary agent. It's also important to have some Imodium around, or Imodium AD, so pick that up at the pharmacy. Listen, this is in the food supply now. There's thousands of cases. Hundreds of people have been hospitalized. I do worry about our senior citizens. You know, it may not be just lettuce, and so I think we all should be prepared.
I think it's kind of ironic, and believe me, I'm not laughing at anything or anybody because I don't want anybody to get sick ever, let alone this thing with explosive diarrhea. What a horrible thing. But it's just ironic. I'm on the caveman diet, right? For years now. I eat pretty much nothing but meat and chicken, steak, and shrimp and things like that all day long, right? And sushi. I eat a lot of sushi. I really don't eat any carbs. I eat pure protein. And so I don't eat much in the way of lettuce. I don't really ever eat any salads. And these people are trying to be healthy and eat good things. And they're eating salads and fruits and they're getting deathly ill. And it's kind of ironic and kind of funny in a strange, macabre way that the guy who eats meat and they all think meat's unhealthy. And these people are eating fruit and vegetables and they're getting sick. But I think the caveman diet's the way to go.
Well, we should cook our food well. Certainly when you have meat, you're cooking it well. But, there was just a recall of eggs recently for salmonella, for instance. So when there's a widespread outbreak like this, a lot of produce and meat are shipped in the same trucks and containers. I worry about cross-contamination, so wash the vegetables well. Grill your meats and vegetables well. And when you eat salads, just make sure that the leaves are washed well. I had a salad today. But listen, if this diarrhea hits, don't fool around with it. Immediately start the medicine in the Wellness Company emergency medical kit. Now, for your kit, for Cindy, who's allergic to sulfa, just use the telemedicine function in the kit, and they'll get you an alternative medication.
All right, and what you talked about scared me because now you say there could be cross-contamination if in the same truck as the lettuce and the meat. Yeah, but if you cook the meat, you're going to kill the bacteria, correct?
Yeah, you should. But remember, you mentioned sushi. Sushi,
I eat a lot of sushi.
Sushi is undercooked. Sashimi. So make sure you cook your foods well. That kills it. Washing it well. I'm not worried day to day, but I just need, on this one, I know to treat. Like today, I told this woman, both her kids are sick with it. I said, treat right away, and you can end this in a day or so. Otherwise, it could be a month. It could be a miserable month.
And how about, I take mega doses of probiotics every day, like 60 billion, I don't know if it's called IUs, whatever it is, 60 billion inside my probiotics. Is that helpful against this, or this has nothing to do with that?
No, I think good GI tract health it does make a difference. So probiotics, important. And, staying clear of alcohol, sugars, starches. We ought to be on our healthiest diets right now. I'm a big fan of working out and perspiration. I know it's hot as the devil out there in Vegas. It's also hot here in Dallas.
Well, you work out inside. You don't go outside. Yeah, I work out in my home gym.
I know, but, it's good to sweat. I worked out yesterday in Texas, worked out hard, swam in the pool to finish it off. But sweating is a good detoxifant, particularly for the spike protein that so many people accumulated with the SARS-CoV-2 infection and taking the vaccine.
And even if you didn't take the vaccine, I didn't take any vaccines, but who knows? I should probably take that test where they measure your spike proteins because people shed, right? So I may have them in my body too, right?
Right. And remember, Wayne, you got sick maybe 6 months to a year ago. You knocked it out quickly. But I always wonder if that was a COVID infection. So get your spike antibodies measured at LabCorp. You can go into LabCorp, ask for the COVID-19 antibody test. You can order it yourself online, $69, and get your test. If you're below 1,000 units per ml, you're free and clear. Above 1,000, probably should take the ultimate spike detox from the Wellness Company.
Oh, okay. So you'll do that test for me. I'll take that test with the Wellness Company. Is that right?
Yeah, well, you can just order it yourself, Wayne.
Oh,
go
okay.
to LabCorp, Labs on Demand, order it yourself, and go into LabCorp and get it done.
Give me the name. What's the name of the test? I'm going to order that. What is it called?
Yeah, it's called the COVID antibody test. So if you go to LabCorp, Labs on Demand, COVID antibody test, sign up, pay $69, walk into LabCorp, get your test done. You'll get the result in a day, and you'll know if you're over 1,000, you've picked up some spike protein from shedding or recurrent infection.
I'll do it. And by the way, your memory is slightly off. I actually had COVID before my wedding, but that was 5 years ago. I got COVID. That's the last time I was really sick in any way, shape, or form. I got COVID, and I took mega doses of vitamin C. I had a visiting nurse come to my home and give me intravenous vitamin C and vitamin D and zinc. And I took all those vitamins, and I took massive doses of ivermectin, and it went away in 48 hours. Matter of fact, from the moment I took the ivermectin, it went away in 24 hours. So I'm a big believer in ivermectin.
Well, I know, Wayne, I know when you do things, you go big, particularly on treatment. But, you know, that's the way to go. You know, people who died with COVID, and some people did, sadly, it's because they got no treatment at all. Right. I know. I know some of them. And they literally went in the hospital. All they did was immediately give them, what's the name of that one that kills everybody? That drug that kills everyone. I can't forget the name. They gave, in the United States, believe it or not, they gave remdesivir. A drug
remdesivir, that's it.
And even the World, Wayne, the World Health Organization and the European Society of Critical Care said, don't use this drug. Right. But what did HHS do under the Biden administration? They featured that drug. Remdesivir, and they immediately put him on a ventilator, which kills you. Ventilators kill an awful lot of people. But remdesivir is so bad that I've had nurses on my show as guests testifying that it killed almost every person they gave it to, and they gave it a nickname, Run, Death is Near. That's the nickname for remdesivir. Run, death is near. That's what our government thought was the best treatment for COVID, and you wonder why people died of COVID. All right, let's talk about the recent death of Senator Lindsey Graham and also actor Sam Neill, a very famous actor who's been in a lot of big movies, and I was a fan of his, and I thought he was great. And if you follow my social media, I said in both of them, I never know, and I never say I know, but I say I'm suspicious that Sam Neill died from the COVID shot because you had to take it to get on movie sets. And Lindsey Graham, I'm suspicious, died. His heart exploded, basically, from the after effects of the COVID shot because he showed himself getting the shot on the air, on video, and told everyone, urged everyone to go get the shot. So I'm guessing he took every booster known to man. So I think you can conjecture, nobody knows, that in both cases it could have contributed to their death. Well, let's take Neil first. He did publicly take the vaccine. He actually took the Janssen vaccine. He said one shot and he's done. That's Janssen. That's the one that's linked to ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease. That's what he died of. You know, this was the star on Grey's Anatomy. He died of a rapid course of ALS. He's 10 years younger than me, Wayne. This is terrible. Oh, you're talking about Eric Dane now, not Sam Neill. Eric Dane. Is that your spot? Eric Dane? Yeah, Eric Dane. I'm sorry. Eric Dane, yeah. Because it's funny. I never watched that show, Grey's Anatomy. I didn't know who Eric Dane was until a few days ago when I started watching Last Ship on Prime or Netflix, whatever I was watching in the gym. The Last Ship, and he's the star. It was filmed in 2014. And suddenly I realized, wait a minute. Eric Dane, isn't that the guy who died of ALS? And then I realized, yes, years later he died of ALS. Young, handsome guy, wasted away to nothing. Terrible. Right, Eric Dane, yeah. So we're talking about Eric Dane. Now, importantly, there's a mutation called the SOD1 mutation. He probably had that, which made him prone to developing vaccine-induced ALS. I have a patient like that in my practice, in fact, 2 of them. And I said publicly in a tweet that he should posthumously get the mutations that can help guide his family members. They should measure spike protein in his brain and his central nervous system. I think that's probably what did it. Now, Lindsey Graham, different story. Lindsey Graham is age 71. And there, he dies of an aortic dissection. And I have to tell you what, this should never happen in any medical practice. So is it possible that Lindsey Graham getting the COVID vaccine and all the boosters also contributed to that as well? Is that possible? Yeah, it's been described. In fact, the deaths due to aortic stenosis, aortic dissection after vaccination have occurred relatively quickly after the vaccine. But what we know here is, with modern coronary artery calcium scoring and assessment, if he had a dilated aorta, everybody should have known about it. I don't miss this in my practice. And when there is a dilated aorta, I do genetic testing to see if they're at risk for dissection. But we just don't let people die of aortic dissection. I'm really shocked at the level of medical care here. If the aorta is really widened, there's a surgery that's done to stabilize it so people don't die of aortic dissection. So I think he either, didn't listen to his doctors or had a surprise dissection due to the vaccine.
Right, and don't forget, he had a family history. His dad died of a heart attack around the exact same age. So there's actually a family history of heart problems. So when people say that to me, they love to always debate me, oh, it's not the vaccine. Well, wait a minute. Just because you have a family history of heart disease and then you die of heart disease just like your father doesn't mean that it wouldn't have happened at all, or it wouldn't have happened for another 10 years if you hadn't gotten the vaccine. The vaccine helped it along.
Well, that's the thing. If I have a patient, let's just say his dad died of a dissection. If I had a patient who came in and said, my dad died of a dissection, I would do the CT scan and genetics, and I would do everything to prevent the dissection death. So, people with a family history, we extend their lives by decades because we have advance notice. In his case, his family history, you're right, Wayne, his family history set him up for a vaccine death that happened probably years after the shots.
Right. And then last but not least, I want to ask about one more, and that's the actor Sam Neill. That's a different guy than Eric Dane. Sam Neill was the Australian actor living in New Zealand who starred in many big films, and he had terrible cancer for the last 5 years. And then he just announced to the world, I am cancer-free. And 2 weeks later, he dropped dead, I think, of a heart attack. So again, I blame the vaccine. Every actor and every resident of New Zealand had to take every single vaccine, and then you wind up with cancer. It seems to me the vaccine used to be a killer with heart disease and strokes, but it eventually morphed into a cancer killer. All I hear about now is people with turbo cancer. They find out they have cancer and they're dead in like 2 weeks, and every one of them was vaccinated. So now the vaccine isn't just about heart and stroke events, it's about cancer. So I would suspect Sam O'Neill as well.
Yeah, you're right. So here we're talking about turbo cancer. Remember, Australia and New Zealand, they were pre-vaccinated before COVID hit that part of the world. So they're all pre-vaccinated. The vaccine doesn't work. They all catch COVID. Now they have the effects of both. And now multiple studies show, in fact, there's been a U.S. Senate hearing on this, Wayne, that sadly the COVID-19 vaccines and potentially even the infection make us more prone to cancer.
Here's a question out of left field. You didn't know this was coming, so hopefully you can answer it for me. But for the last 5 years, every year, it's clear to me from insurance statistics, insurance data, life insurance data, that we are having a massive die-off, a lot of excess deaths. And the excess deaths are all only in people who took the vaccine, not in the people who didn't. All of a sudden, I saw an article a few days ago that last year, the claim is it was the lowest deaths in years in the United States of America. I don't believe that for a second when I see so many of my friends dropping dead and so many Hollywood actors dropping dead. I think, once again, they're gaming the system. They're gaming the stats. Do you think it's possible we had an all-time low in deaths last year? I don't.
No, I don't think it's possible. Remember, it's always adjusted per some type of standardized population, but there may be a culling effect. This is important. Culling means that, people died of the infection, sick people who, were past their life expectancy, and now some people have died with the vaccine. We mentioned 3 of them who just died prematurely, and so that's kind of culling people out of the population.
So in other words, the ones who are left are the stronger ones, and maybe there was less deaths last year. Is that possible? I guess it is.
Right. So, when I'm examining patients who've had problem with the vaccines, Wayne, they almost always have a background condition, typically a genetic condition for heart disease or a predisposition to neurologic disease or cancer. A great mystery is why some people take these shots and they're perfectly fine.
Right.
Perfectly fine. And so I think those people are just genetically blessed that they've been able to tolerate these shots.
Or they're very lucky, because I've read that the shots, they can't standardize them, so some have a lot more spike proteins in them than others. So it's really Russian roulette whether you got the one with spike proteins or the one with very little.
Right.
That could also be one of the reasons why some people are doing just fine. But the key is, I keep telling all my friends and fans, if you already got it, there's nothing you can do to undo it except to take a lot of vitamins and go to the wellness company and make sure you've got all the right things, like what is it, natkinase? Am I pronouncing that right?
Right. Yeah, it's called the Ultimate Spike Detox. It looks like this, Wayne. It's got a gold label, Ultimate Spike Detox. Most people need to be on this who took the shots, who have had severe COVID. I personally take it. Helps prevent heart disease, blood clots. I'm still seeing late complications in my practice. People say, hey, doc, I took the shots in 2021, and all of a sudden, boom, a blood clot in 2026.
So even though I never took the shots ever, I should take that too? Or you think so?
Yeah, if your blood test is over 1,000, I'd say play it safe and take it.
Well, let me go get it. So if it's under 1,000, then don't worry about it. But if it's over 1,000, take it. Okay.
Right.
All right. And so what I was going to say to you was, what's amazing is, you had the shot. Okay, if a person had the shot, not much you can do about it. You wish you could do over, but there are no do-overs in life. But you certainly should never take another one. And it's funny, because in the last month, I've been with two great friends who are two great Republicans, supporters of Trump. Everything I talk about, they agree with me. They're both MDs, and they both bragged in the middle of our dinners. Two separate people, two separate dinners. Oh, I get my flu shots and I get my COVID shots every year, and I'm very proud of it. And I thought, all these doctors have been brainwashed, Peter. They're brainwashed. I just don't get it.
They're brainwashed. You know, more and more data suggests we should go natural, not keep taking flu shots or COVID shots or RSV. If you're people our age, Wayne, and we're strong, diet, fitness, supplements, go natural for a better outcome.
Yeah, and I've never taken a flu shot in my life, and I'm not a fan of flu shots either. So I've read a lot that they're not good for your immune system, so I just stay away from them. And it just seems like it can't be a coincidence, Peter. Every time I meet someone who's sick, I always say to them, hey, by the way, can I ask you a quick question? And they go, yeah. On the phone now. Again, if they're sick with the flu, they're not in front of me. But I always ask my friends on the phone. They go, oh, man, I've been down with the flu for 2 weeks. I'm so sick. I'm in bedridden. And I go, can I ask you a question? They go, yeah. Did you take the flu shot? And their answer is always yes.
Yeah.
So, and I never get the flu, and I don't take the flu shot. There must be a correlation there.
There is. Multiple trials show the flu shot actually backfires, more likely to get the flu and the common cold. A lot of people like me, Wayne, I was forced into it to be on medical staff. I took 40 years of flu shots. Yeah, listen, I was so sick. At the end of that, I was sick almost every month. I haven't taken a flu shot now in 5 years. I've never been healthier.
See, just telling the flu shot makes everybody sick. And certainly doesn't help. It doesn't stop you from getting sick, because I don't take them and I don't get sick. So I don't know. We live in a crazy world, Peter. I'll tell you. I just can't believe two of my friends, huge Republicans, huge Trump supporters, brilliant doctors, and they're bragging about taking the COVID vaccine. And I didn't even get in a fight with them because, Peter, I just didn't even want to make enemies. We're in the middle of a nice dinner, and I just didn't even want to get them upset. And they're going to just say to me, Peter, you're Wayne Root, a famous talk show host. I'm a doctor. Don't debate with me about medicine. That's what they're going to say. So why even bother debating, right?
Yeah, in my book, Wayne, on vaccines, listen, it's a religion. It's a religion. These are accepted based on religious faith. You can't argue with people about religion. You're better off changing the subject.
I did. I got away from it. I got back to Trump and the economy and other things. We all agreed on everything. So why get in a fight about it? It's a crazy world. I don't know what to say anymore. All the doctors are killing themselves. Isn't that crazy? It makes no sense. All right, Dr. Peter McCullough, a man who saves lives, a man with great wisdom and great common sense. Listen to everything this man says. All the things I say, people go, Wayne, how are you this smart about COVID and COVID vaccine and medicine? I go, because I listen to Peter McCullough. That's why I'm this smart. I listen to people that are smart. Peter McCullough is my mentor when it comes to medicine. So thank you, Peter, for making me a smart guy and helping save lives. Peter McCullough, world-renowned physician and scientist, chief scientific officer at the Wellness Company, and the website, go get that kit that has all the antibiotics and ivermectin in it. You never know when you need it. TWC.health for the wellness company, TWC.health. Peter, thanks for saving lives and thanks for educating us.
Thank you.
God bless you. We'll be right back. Wayne Allyn, this is Warzone Live. Last segment coming up. All right, Wayne Allyn, joining me is Silvano De Genova, owner of Tangible Investments. Sil, I've known you forever, and I've been buying gold forever, and silver forever, and rare coins forever. It's great to have you with us. With the Iran deal done, how do you see the economy and inflation moving in the near future?
Well, nothing's really changed. We're in an inflationary environment. The government deficits are through the roof. The reality is that oil prices may come down, but inflation is going to be with us long term.
How does inflation impact the demand for gold and silver?
Well, the more inflation there is, the more demand there's going to be for gold. People want to get away from their paper assets. They want to hold something that is going to hold its value or appreciate in an inflationary times. And gold and hard assets are the only real thing that are an insurance policy against this type of inflation. And the reality is we may still have rampant inflation. And we saw that under a different administration. And this one's doing okay to try and buckle it down. But long term, government spending is not going to stop. The world government spending is not going to stop. And that's going to be good for gold and hard assets into perpetuity at this point.
And world debt is not going to stop, and America's debt is not going to stop. It just keeps getting higher and higher. How should buyers of gold and silver know which gold products to buy and what to avoid?
Well, they certainly don't want to buy products that trade or are being offered at big premiums. If you're going to buy gold as your hedge, you want it as close to the spot price of gold as possible. Right now, we have an anomaly. You can actually buy some fairly rare coins at no premium or very little premium to just bullion coins, like $20 gold pieces that are 100 years old. We're selling them at $50 over the melt price. Okay. Or you can buy bullion coins from us at a very small premium over the spot price. There's a lot of gimmicks out there, and a lot of companies selling certified gold coins at big premiums and saying they're a gold investment. Well, they're not. I mean, you're going to have to overcome their markup.
If you want gold, silver, precious metals, or rare coins from a real firm with real credibility and honest pricing, call Sil. Tangible Investments is Silvano's company, 888-330-4351, or go to the website they created just for my fans, rootforgold.com. Tell them War sent you. All right, my guest is here, Edward Dowd. It's a little more of a free-flowing show nowadays. I can talk to my wonderful guests as long as I want, and so I could be a little late because we could just stay here forever, Ed. Founder of Finance Technologies, author of Cause Unknown, a great book, The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022, former portfolio manager at BlackRock, where he oversaw a $14 billion portfolio. Obviously a brilliant guy, obviously knows his math, and he's been one of my go-to guys for all the COVID events going on, COVID vaccine events, death events, injury events, disabling events going on across the United States. Ed, welcome to the show, first of all. How are you?
Good to be here, Wayne. Thanks for having me on again, brother.
I remember when you were talking about, forget about deaths for a minute, let's put them aside. You were talking about how many people have become disabled since the COVID vaccine. It was numbers that no one had ever seen before. Has that flattened out now, or are there still more excess people now claiming to be disabled and no longer working than ever before, and it keeps rising, or is it flattened out? Where is it at right now?
When you and I talked several years ago, it had risen to 3 million, above the baseline. It had kind of peaked out at 29 to 30 million for 5 years prior to COVID. Then in February of 21, it took off. And then around 2022, 23, it got to 3 million above. Unfortunately, I'm here to say it's now 6 million, and it looks like a growth stock, and it's not flattened out. It does have periods where it goes sideways, but then it goes to a new high. And we went to a new high last month.
Incredible.
And again, I want your, a lot of the pushback I get on this is, oh, it's because of the boomers. It's because of illegal immigrants. It's because of fraud. This is a survey. And if you answer one of 6 questions, you're marked down as disabled. They don't ask you if you're disabled. They ask you 6 questions during the survey. And and this is the non-farm payroll report. It's all part of the same thing. And so it's a survey, and they statistically impute it. So it's not tied to a Social Security disability payment. Illegals tend to avoid talking to the government, so they're usually not picked up. And the boomers could account for some of this, but not a 22.5% rise in 6 years. It'd be maybe like 1-2% of demographics. So obviously you and I blame the vaccine, and this is a tragic event that continues to kind of roll quietly through society.
This is all-time record levels of people on the disabled list. I think you could say some of it. I'll even be fair and say with an asterisk, some of it has to be from the COVID vaccine, because it only started the excess disabled and the excess death and the excess injuries. All of it started at the moment we rolled out the COVID vaccine, not the moment of COVID, the COVID vaccine. Am I right about that? That's when it began?
Well, the excess deaths, there were 500 excess deaths in 2020, but I would contend they were counting anything as COVID back then. Right. And there was also death-dealing hospital protocols that kind of inflated the numbers. Right. And they denied early treatment. So 500,000 pre-COVID, pre-vaccine, then another 500,000 excess deaths in 2021. But it was a flip. It was a mix shift from the old in 2020 to the young in 2021. So apparently the virus decided to go attack young people. You'd have to assume that, which we've never seen a virus. Obviously, I blame the vaccines and whatnot. This is like a tragic. And look, the good news is more and more people have figured this out. The problem is officialdom. The state has really not talked about this, and it's kind of like a third rail at this point.
Well, if you look at the Daily Mail, do you ever read the Daily Mail? It's kind of a fascinating online newspaper, and it used to be the UK Daily Mail. Now it's just called the Daily Mail, and it applies to America. They've got a UK version, an American version, and I read it every day because it's got all these salacious articles. Reminds me of the New York Post. It's fun to read because it's so wild. Everything's salacious and interesting and controversial, and they keep having articles, Ed, about how young people have cancer in numbers no one's ever seen, and that no one's ever seen young people with colon cancer and young people with bowel cancer, and they can't understand it. And no one's ever seen so many young people with Parkinson's disease, and no one's ever seen so many people, period, with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, all of which, if you speak to experts like Peter McCullough, one of the great doctors in America who's a guest on my show all the time, he'll tell you every one of those is a side effect of the COVID vaccine. And when you read the articles, they go, we asked 50 doctors. No one can understand why young people are getting cancer they never got, or Parkinson's, or ALS. They come up with every excuse. It's got to be food additives. It's got to be your lifestyle. You're sitting in the sun too much. You're drinking too much. You're vaping too much. The one thing they will never say is the COVID vaccine. And yet you and I both know all these increases have come only since 2021, when everybody was forced, at least all the people who worked, were forced to get the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, and we showed in some of our research on financetechnologies.com under the humanities projects, we have papers we put out. We saw multiple different cancers inflect in young people. That's 25 through 44, beginning in 2021. The only cancer that had been rising consistently was colon, but colon had another step forward. But the other cancers were coming down, and they all inflected in this young cohort around 2021 and kept rising in 22 and 23. The standard deviations we saw above trend line, were above 3 sigma, which, is tells you something's going on. It's a signal something's changed. And you know what? My favorite new excuse is the one out of Australia a couple months ago, where they said that the increase in cancer amongst young people could be due to the fact that they're aging faster than their elders. Oh, okay.
And
that's
why?
Great.
Why are they
Well,
aging faster? They come up with all these crazy excuses. How about, again, they'll tell me I'm wrong in applying this to a personal situation, which is not scientific enough for them. But I just know a lot of people. I'm always telling people that I have 6,000 names in this phone. That's how many phone names are in my phone address book. 6,000. I mean, and I only put you in here if you're a friend, a business associate, a fan who contacts me all the time. I mean, these are all people I really know. 6,000. And all of them constantly tell me, every one of them, that a lot of people they know are dying or dead or very sick or very injured or disabled. And they say, all my friends who are unvaccinated, every person in his phone says that, all my friends who are unvaccinated are fine. And all my friends who are dead or dying or very sick all have one thing in common: they're vaccinated. When everybody says that, isn't that called a cancer cluster? I think it is scientific. 6,000 people is pretty scientific. Everybody says they know people who died after getting the COVID vaccine and who were never sick before that. I think my personal friends and associates is a pretty scientific thing that indicates something is wrong.
Anecdotes, first of all, anecdotes like that should lead to questions, and 6,000 is not enough proof, but it's enough to ask the question. And Senator Ron Johnson, I think held hearings recently talking about potential for cancer from the mRNA vaccines, and the media circus was crickets on that topic. I mean, he's a sitting senator, and that should have been like, page one news. But
they won't allow it. They won't allow it.
They're paid by pharmaceutical industry execs, and this is a business model. The sicker you get, as long as you live, death isn't actually good for them because they can't harvest as much cash flow from you. So they'd like to kind of keep you disabled as long as possible. Yeah,
it's pretty sick stuff, and I think it's a twofer. I think there's two reasons we've had this massive cover-up. We're talking Ed Dowd is one of the great portfolio managers ever. He was at BlackRock, managed $14 billion. He's the founder of Finance Technologies, the author of the book Cause Unknown, The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022, and he understands math. So I think it's twofold, Ed. First of all, think about the conflicts of interest they're facing in the media. They, first of all, chose in the beginning because of the big money from Big Pharma that they get, and the newsroom would all get fired. They'd have no money. Half of NBC, ABC, and CBS, they'd all lose their jobs if you cut out pharmaceutical advertising. So the conflict of interest is your job depends on not pissing off Big Pharma. So that's conflict number one. Conflict number two is they all, every single one of them in the media depends on this money to do anything and everything to make their money, their stock options, their stock gains, to hire people, to all the major executives in the office suite, the C-suites. All of them make, $20 million a year, $10 million a year, $15 million a year. They wouldn't make it if there wasn't $1 billion coming in from Big Pharma. Their salary depends on it at the top. And then they all covered up in the beginning because of all that. So don't you think now they have to continue the cover up, because then they would have to admit they covered up in the first place, so they got to continue the cover up. So they first covered up, now it's a cover up of the cover up, because otherwise they're responsible for all the people that watched them that died. Even Fox News took money. You and I both know the government paid Fox News and Newsmax money in the millions to never allow a guest to talk negative about the COVID vaccine. You're aware of that, I assume?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was a FOIA request, $1 billion in federal money, and I'm sure other monies from NGOs.
Right. So don't you think they could be sued? I think technically, if you watched Fox News and your mother died because she took the vaccine, because she never saw anything negative ever, they never presented both sides, Fox News could be sued for $1 trillion. Fox News could lose, Murdoch family could lose Fox News if the class action lawsuit came along. So they're all covering up the cover up, so they never have to ever go there in the first place. That's just my gut.
Well, your gut is correct, and there's precedent for that. I was there during the Enron days, and people ask, how did they carry on the fraud for so long? As it was unraveling, they continued to lie because the fraud was so big. They had to lie until someone put them in handcuffs and proved that they were lying. Right. And that's where we are with this COVID thing. The fraud is so big and so deep. They have to they're going to pretend nothing's going on, and they will never admit to it unless forced to.
And what's amazing is, it just so happens that most lawyers are liberal. Not all, but most lawyers. I'll bet you 80% plus of lawyers are liberal. And I'll bet you in big towns like New York and LA, on the coast, it's 95% of lawyers are liberal. Every lawyer I meet hates Donald Trump, and they're all ranting and raving about everything Trump does. So that's the only reason that they're so greedy. You'd think there'd be massive multi-trillion-dollar class action lawsuits against Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson. You think they'd be suing Fox News? Some smart, enterprising lawyer should do a class action lawsuit against Fox News and sue them for billions because thousands of their viewers died because they took money to not report the other side of the negative side effects of the COVID vaccine. So mommy died and daddy died, and now you're an orphan because Fox News wouldn't present both sides. And yet their motto is fair and balanced. We present both sides. I think there's a massive class action lawsuit there, certainly against Pfizer, but definitely against some of the media too. No one's doing it despite lawyers being greedy because the lawyers are liberal. They took the vaccine, and they all actually believe this nonsense too in many cases, I would guess.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of them still believe it. But there's also another problem. A lot of Pfizer and these big media companies spread their law. They all have general counsels that seek outside counsel, and they put people on retainer. So a lot of these big law firms, even if they got a suit, we would have a conflict of interest. So it has to be someone small, brave,
wow,
and phenomenally smart, but somehow, with enough gumption and funding to bring it to the finish line. So the big law firms aren't going to touch us with the 10-foot pole.
Wow, you're a smart guy. I didn't even think about that. You're right. So every one of these billion-dollar firms in D.C. and New York on Park Avenue, they've all got retainers with Big Pharma, so they can't take a lawsuit against Big Pharma. I didn't even think about that. Another insurance policy by Big Pharma to make sure they can't get sued. I never even thought about that. Interesting. Hey, let's take a quick break, and we'll finish the whole last segment to the end of the show with Ed, because he is fascinating. I still have so many questions for him. Edward Dowd is the founder of Finance Technologies, author of Cause Unknown, The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022, former portfolio manager at BlackRock, where he oversaw a $14 billion portfolio. This is a smart guy. And he's not hoodwinked. He's not brainwashed. He understands, like I do, what actually happened to America and the gaslighting we are undergoing. And I don't know why everyone else, so many people are susceptible to this brainwashing and this gaslighting and this fraud and propaganda. And guys like me and Ed aren't. I saw through this from the first day. It's not like I woke up halfway through it. I mean, from the first day, I said I would not buy a new car in its first year of production because something's going to go wrong and maybe it'll kill me. Why would I let someone inject me with a drug in its first year untested? And I said that from the first day. Let everyone else take it. You guys don't take it. I don't want my fans to ever take the vaccine for at least a year or two till it's proven it won't kill you. And so I figured this out from day one. I don't know why everybody else couldn't figure this out, but Edward Dowd figured it out. He's a smart guy, and I'm glad he's with us. We'll be right back. Wayne Allyn Root, Warzone Live. My website, rootforamerica.com, and you can email me anytime, wayneroot@gmail.com. And don't forget, you can ring the phones in about an hour and 15 minutes at America Speaks, my new show on Real America's Voice TV, 800-347-ROOT, waiting for your calls, 800-347-ROOT. Be right back. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, the root is on fire. We'll continue our conversation with Edward Dowd. His book is called Cause Unknown, The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022. He's the founder of Finance Technologies. So your reaction, Ed, to the Fauci diaries and what was revealed, and also Fauci taking the fifth 111 times like John Gotti, what was your reaction to all that?
Well, look, it basically proved you and I were right about everything. Everything out of his mouth was basically a lie.
Right.
You know, the effectiveness. Let's start with the vaccine. Safe and effective. It was neither effective nor safe. He knew that. He knew the 6-foot distancing was nonsense. He knew masks were nonsense. He knew that closing down would not stop the spread. He made sure that early treatment was not allowed, so the vaccine would be ushered in. I mean, almost everything this guy did was purposeful and evil, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is I saw that Fauci wrote a research paper. I just found that out over the weekend. He wrote a research paper about the Spanish flu. This is going back like 20 years. And in the research paper, which was Fauci's paper, he writes that the Spanish flu killed the most people in the history of the world. I don't remember what the number was, but like 20 million people died, something like that. And he says it turns out that most of them didn't die from the flu. They died from bacterial pneumonia, which came from the masks that they wore, which were filthy. And then he goes and recommends it for everybody in this updated day and age where the same thing was happening. Little children would wear these filthy masks all day and then go play on the playground and wear the same filthy mask the whole day and pick their nose and wipe their butt and then put their hand on the mask and then put the mask against their face. Nothing is any different than the Spanish flu. Masks are filthy except in an operating room setting where they have piles of thousands of masks and the doctor grabs one, takes it off, puts a new one on, takes it off, puts a new one on. Nobody does that in the real world because masks cost too much money. So no one's going to put 12 of them on a day or 12 an hour. You know, so to wear the same mask all day is a filthy face diaper that causes bacterial pneumonia and infections and makes you a sick person. He knew that, and yet he recommended them.
Yeah, that's insane. I've also seen other different narratives about the Spanish flu. Masks were one of the culprits, and the bacterial pneumonia, and additionally, there was a vaccine that probably wasn't very good. And additionally, they were using aspirin, but the dosage was like crazy amounts of aspirin that may have killed a lot of people as well. Wow. when you came into the hospital. So there was a whole cacophony of things, but it certainly wasn't the Spanish flu, is what we're finding out.
Yeah, and speaking of killing people, I thought it was also interesting that Ron Johnson, who's a good friend of the show, he's on all the time, U.S. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, the state that looks like it might very well elect a socialist/communist as the new governor of Wisconsin. Isn't that wonderful? Crazy people. But Ron Johnson had graphs, charts, like Ross Perot, you know, at the hearing, and he was showing how many people died. 40,000 people died or so, according to the VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. Now, I don't believe that number's right, Ed, because I saw a Harvard study show only 1% of deaths ever get reported to VAERS. So if you multiply 40,000 deaths times 100, there might be 4 million deaths in the United States due to the COVID vaccine. I think the number's probably 500,000 to a million. But either way, 40,000 is ridiculously low. But let's take that number as the real number, 40,000. Let's assume it's the right number. First time ever, every person that died was reported to correctly to VAERS. When the Spanish flu was around in the 1970s, I think it was 78 or 79, they vaccinated like 50 million people and 25 died. Not 25,000, just 25 people died. And they canceled the entire program because 25 people died. Now you fast forward to today, 40,000 died. Not 4 million, not a million, let's be reasonable. 40,000 died. No problem at all. Let's keep vaccinating everyone. And let's go walk into CVS, and it encourages you to get the vaccine even today. Isn't this insanity?
It's total insanity. And to your point about the swine flu in 76, there were 500 cases. Yeah, you know, I knew what you meant.
Got it.
There were 500 cases of Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Yes.
And 25 deaths, and they yanked the thing. And so let's fast forward. The VAERS, first of all, VAERS should have shut this down. I mean, they let it get to 40. But back in the early days, it was, you know, it had risen to like 4,000 or 5,000 pretty quick.
Right.
They should have shut it down. Right. And to the point of the frontline doctors, you know, the CDC should have shut it down. The FDA hid they all hid stuff. And people like me and others that have done statistical work on this shouldn't have had any reason for existing. Like the fact that I had to come onto the scene was a joke. This should have been shut down by the regulatory bodies that are supposedly there to protect us. They did in the 70s, but apparently something happened between 1976 and 2021.
Someone realized they could make a lot of money on this vaccine. They didn't want to stop making the money. I really think that was a big part of it, unless I want to really be cynical. All my fans think I'm way too nice. Everyone says to me, Wayne, we love you. We love everything you say. But when it comes to the vaccine, you're too nice. You keep saying it was about greed, and they all made billions, but you're not admitting that it was population control, that Gates and company wanted to kill millions of people. I just don't even get involved in that because I can't prove it. I don't know about that. I just know everyone made hundreds of billions of dollars, and they wanted the gravy train to keep going. Whether or not, I don't think any doctor woke up in the morning and said, I hope I can kill 25 patients today. See, I don't want to say things like that because I don't think that's true. I think the doctors were brainwashed. I think they do whatever the CDC tells them, whatever the FDA tells them, whatever their boss tells them, because every doctor now is owned by some large corporation. And so I don't think anyone wanted to kill anyone purposely. Maybe at the top, maybe the Bill Gates did. But most of the people just wanted to believe they were helping everyone and they were making lots of money at the same time. So, I mean, I don't know. Where do you stand on the purposely wanting to kill millions because of overpopulation?
You know, I've talked on this topic a lot in the last 6 years. I wasn't in the room, so I don't know. Right. But let's pretend that was one of the goals. A de facto depopulation is occurring as we speak. Excess deaths continue to this day, and birth rates are declining. So, but regardless of whether or not there was a plan, it's happening.
It works.
Number two, you don't even. To your point, you don't even need to assume that. It's power and money. Right. It's as old as Babylon.
That's what I always say. Exactly.
It's as old as Babylon. And so let's go back to the swine flu. Something happened between 76 and 2021. What happened? Regulatory capture by corporations, and corruption became a way of life in these institutions. That's it, bottom line.
Right. I mean, it's the same way I've seen all these things where, you know, here's 12 leading Democrats who run Washington, and all of them have brothers and sisters and sister-in-laws in the media. It's so interplayed. It's so disgusting how they're all tied together. You know, every leading Democrat's got a brother and a sister who's involved with ABC, NBC, CBS. Their wife is involved with ABC, NBC, CBS. Well, I think it's the same thing. I think if you looked, you'd find that all the leading Democrats have someone in their family or a best friend who's on the board of pharma or a major salesman for pharma or a major owner of stock in Pfizer. They're all intertwined with each other. It's disgusting, the synergy between the media, the government, the Democrat Party, and Big Pharma. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh, that, and then there's the whole NGO system where, you know, I remember Stacey Abrams after Biden left somehow started an NGO like months before he left, and it was funded with $2 billion.
$2 billion, right. It didn't have $100 in sales, and they gave him $2 billion. It's correct. The most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, I've never seen it. I'm a smart businessman. I've made a lot of millions in my life, and I've never been able to raise money for something that never made a dime. In other words, I don't understand. Only in politics can you go to the government and say, I have an idea. It's never made $1. It's never been proven. It's brand new. It's a bank account with zero in it. Could you give me $2 billion? And the government says, sure. I've never been around something like that in my entire life, Ed. I wish I could get Wall Street to give me $2 billion for an idea that's never been proven and has no money in the bank. But it doesn't happen in the private sector.
Oh, it's disgusting. And, you know, everyone should understand, when you ask yourself, why do some of these septuagenarian Democrat and some Republicans, the rhinos that we don't like, their net worths are hundreds of millions of dollars, and we know what their salary is. How does that happen?
Doesn't make any sense. All right, last thing, and then I'll let you run. Just, I thought at the hearing, they did a good job. I mean, they hammered him great. They really attacked Fauci, but they also, I think, were a little weak in some areas. Like, they attacked him for closing schools. In his own diary, admits he is the guy that fought to close the schools after years of claiming he never had anything to do with it. But what they didn't make the connection to, which I thought was weak, was, hey, it wasn't just that you closed schools. It's that you made sure that when they reopened the schools, that it was such a horrible threat that all the children would die, they had to be vaccinated, when you knew that not one child in all of America ever died of COVID unless they had childhood leukemia. Other than childhood cancer victims, no child died of COVID. So none of them, not only did they not have to cancel school, but none of them ever had to get vaccinated. And I don't think that part was brought up. You know, it's not that people have died from the vaccine. It's what's the future of children who got that vaccine? Are they in trouble 20 years from now, 5 years from now, today? I mean, that's a big issue that I think was left off.
Yeah, and, you know, look, during the throes of COVID in 22, 23, and 24, I remember there was a big push by the powers that be to get the COVID vaccine on the childhood schedule, because once you get it on the childhood schedule, they had the emergency declaration, but that was going to come off at some point. So if you got the COVID vaccine on the childhood schedule,
money,
you'd be indemnified forever.
And money. Government's going to pay for it. So you're guaranteed. How many children are there in America? Like 50 million? If they all have to get vaccinated, multiply 50 million times, I don't know, $50 or $100 a shot. And somebody's getting filthy rich. It's all about money and, as you say, indemnification. Of course, they can't come after them and go grab that money back. All right. Great talk, as always, with Ed. I just don't know, Ed, why people are so easily brainwashed. Guys like you and me are not. I'm cynical, and I think of everything government or people in authority say, and I go, let me think of how they might be lying. How come most people, they just go, okay, no problem, I'm a Stepford wife? I don't get it.
You know, the propaganda, we never saw such a propaganda campaign in all our lives. And the good news and the bad news is this: a lot of people fell for it, but as time rolls on, some people are peeling the onion layers and going down the rabbit hole and joining our ranks. It's a slow process, but this event that happened is forever changed trust in institutions going forward.
I don't know how anyone trusts anything that the government says, anything that Dr. Fauci or any medical expert says, any doctor says. They all turned out to be wrong about everything and liars about everything, and turned out to be killers while they were trying to claim that we were the bad guys. I don't know how you could trust in any authority anymore. And I think the truth is most people don't now trust in authority, but they did in 2020 and 2021, and that was sad. I never did. I never fell for it from day one, and I got fired from so many things, Ed. I lost my job as a columnist for the Las Vegas newspaper. I lost my job with Newsmax TV. They all were mad that I wouldn't listen to government and authority and people that were supposed to be experts and smarter than me. And guess what? Experts are wrong about everything. You don't listen to them. Edward Dowd, founder of Finance Technologies, author of Cause Unknown, The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022, who oversaw BlackRock's $14 billion portfolio. Very smart guy. Glad we have a smart guy on our side. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for today's show. I'm Wayne Allyn. This has been Warzone Live. Don't forget, coming up in less than 1 hour now, about 55 minutes, is my new show, America Speaks, on Real America's Voice TV network. You can watch it live on the YouTube channel of Real America's Voice, or you can wait tonight till midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific to watch it. But either way, you can call in 1 hour, less than 1 hour, at 800-347-ROOT and talk to me. Ask me questions, comments, or opinions. I bring the show live to Las Vegas on Friday. That's completely sold out. You can't get tickets anymore at the Allyn Hotel in Las Vegas starting at 1 o'clock. My show and Eric Bolling's show will be live in front of a live studio audience, and you can ask me all the questions you want in person. But in the meantime, call up 800-347-ROOT. I would love to hear from you. So have a great night. God bless you. God bless Trump. God bless America. And as I always say, viva my tax-free Las Vegas. Hey, Wayne Allyn Root, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America Speaks. Get ready for Energized Health. This segment of the show is sponsored by Energized Health. I joined the program in November of 2020. So we're 6 years in, and it changed my life and my career. I lost 25 pounds of fat in only 88 days, gained 10 pounds of muscle. That was 6 years ago, and I've never looked back. There's me 15 years ago with Steve Forbes. There's me in the gym today, about to turn 65 years old next Monday. A week from today, I turn 65. I'm on Medicare now officially. Started July 1st. Cannot believe it. That's the most amazing words that have ever come out of my mouth. 65th birthday and Medicare. Just crazy. I don't know where all the years went, but I look better now than when I was 50. So do you know anybody who looks better at 65 than they did at 50? It goes in the right direction instead of the wrong. Unheard of. And it's because of John Jubilee and Energized Health. The address to go to is energizedhealth.com, energizedhealth.com, and you just say war when you speak to them, or you type in war, and you get 40% off, and you go on the same journey that I did. And hopefully it changes your life the way it did for me, and it reverse ages you the way it did for me, and it gives you a new lease on life and a new career like it did for me. Energizedhealth.com. John Jubilee is with us. There he is. Johnny boy, what's going on? How are you?
Man, happy birthday a week ahead, Wayne. Let's go, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think this interview should focus on something that is on most people's minds now. They want to take Ozempic or Mounjaro or other GLP-1 drugs. Very popular. Now, I don't agree with that personally, and I know you don't either. It's not really a good choice to make because those drugs have drastic side effects that can really be a terrible thing in your life. However, people definitely lose weight. They lose weight because they lose hydration. They lose weight because they lose muscle. Two terrible reasons to lose weight. But if you're going to be on those drugs, which 50 million Americans are on right now, then you ought to be on Energized Health along with those drugs to save you, to mitigate those terrible side effects, to lessen them or get rid of them. So Energized Health has decades of experience helping people gain lean muscle and healthy hydration, and it works effectively alongside GLP-1s if you make that decision to use them or you're already on them. Remember, it's very hard to ever get off them or you just balloon up again with weight. You go right back to where you were. You could never get off them the rest of your life. So if you're on them right now, you, at the very least, as opposed to getting off them, you have got to get on the Energized Health program to mitigate the terrible side effects. Am I right?
Wayne, you're so right. And I'll just share one of 1,000 stories. So GLP-1s, guys, have been around for more than a decade. They started as a diabetic drug. And so I'll just share a story of one client, but he just represents thousands of people. He went on the Energized Health protocol because he knew he lost his hydration, he lost his lean muscle. He still was over 40 pounds overweight, Wayne. So the drug did not work that well for him for a weight loss drug, but he gained back his healthy hydration, he gained back his lean muscle, and then on the Energized Health protocol, he did what every one of our clients does. For 29 years, our average client loses 7 of these in 88 days. Now, that's better than any GLP-1, by the way. So he actually lost 8 of these. He lost 42 pounds of fat while he gained his hydration, gained his muscle. And then even his doctor told him, Wayne, hey, you've been on this GLP-1 for 13 years. You got your healthy weight, your diabetes reversed. He said, now you should go off of it. So I'm with you, Wayne. I think everybody, listen, the most healthy thing to do is not go on a GLP-1. But if you're going to go on the GLP-1, why don't you get on a protocol like ours that guarantees you're going to gain your hydration, you're going to gain your lean muscle. If you're a diabetic, you're going to reverse. And by the way, we go to the root cause of every illness and disease, which is inflammation. And intercellular hydration is taking a fire hose and spraying it with all the power of a fire hose, which could push a car. And that fire hose of hydration will push the inflammation and the toxins out of your body so that you can have amazing health.
Right, and your patent-pending science of intercellular hydration, which worked like a miracle for me, it was my fountain of youth, it reverse-aged me. It changes cells from raisins to grapes. Explain what that means. Explain to people the difference between a raisin and a grape and how that affects your cells and your health.
Yeah, well, I love that question because, you know, Wayne, I love to keep it simple for people. And I ask people every day, what's the difference between a raisin and a grape? Hydration, right? Hydration. Well, just imagine if each one of your organs is a raisin because it's shriveled up and dehydrated. If it's your pancreas and it's shriveled up, you're going to have diabetes. If it's your liver and it's shriveled up, you're going to have a fatty liver. If it's your heart and it's shriveled up, you're going to have congestive heart failure. If it's your thyroid, you're going to have to be on a thyroid medication to be supplementing that. If it's your brain, then you're going to have to be on an anxiety or a depression medication. Everything is all about the intercellular hydration. If your cells are hydrated, your organs are optimized. And that's why you can reverse any ailment or disease, guys. Yep, you heard me, any, A-N-Y. You can reverse any ailment or disease when you get healthy at the cellular level. And look, it's not a bad side effect, right? Like, who doesn't want to look like Wayne Allyn Root, look 15 years younger, 15 years later? Like, who doesn't want to do that? That's just a great side effect. And Wayne, I'm just going to brag on you. You know what Wayne did, you guys? Wayne used to have 1 million followers on Twitter. He lost them because he's a patriot when it was Twitter. Wayne took off his shirt, man. Like when he showed, hey, no, I gained me some guns. I mean, he literally looks like a high school football player today. If you guys saw him with the shirt off, he looks like a high school football player.
So, how does Energize Health help people reverse diabetes? How do you reverse diabetes, John?
Wayne, it's the raisin and the grape. The number one cause of diabetes, it is not sugar, it is not fat. It is a dehydrated pancreas that cannot regulate insulin. So we have had thousands of people, thousands and thousands, reverse diabetes. We even had people, Wayne, with type 1 diabetes, which they say is not reversible, and they cut their insulin in half. And we had 3 people that said they went completely off of insulin. And why? It's just like jump-starting a car battery, right? So if your battery goes down on your car, if you could jump-start that thing. So we've had people that their thyroid wasn't working. All of a sudden, it's working like it was when they were 15 years old. A liver, a kidney. You know, there's a doctor right there from your city, Dr. Brian Taylor, Wayne, from Las Vegas, and he only came and heard me speak live because he had so much respect for you. But he said, this sounds impossible. You're telling me you can reverse irreversible kidney failure? I said, Dr. Taylor, I'll bet you $1 million we can reverse it. And he said, well, I have so much faith in Wayne, and I believe in the science of what you said. I'm going to try it. And he reversed his irreversible kidney failure. It's on the front of our website. You can see the testimonial.
That's great. So how can my fans get started? How simple is it to get started? How inexpensive is it to get started?
Guys, listen, you're talking a couple $100 a month, $250 a month, $291 a month with your spouse. It's 100% money back guaranteed. Everybody can afford it. Everybody can do it. We have people in their 90s that do it. We have people in wheelchairs that do it. So everyone can do it. All you have to do is book the call. There's no salespeople at Energize Health. We only share. We share an experience. We are the solution to the problem, and all we're doing is offering you a solution to your problem. So just go on the website, energizedhealth.com. Book that call, and you're going to talk to a real person that has their own miracle story, but they're going to help you to have your miracle story.
And I've got my miracle story. So I think, that's a great endorsement, testimonial for the product. I've been on the program for 6 years. It took me only 88 days to lose the 25 pounds of fat. I didn't lose 25 pounds of weight. Matter of fact, I gained 10 pounds of muscle, so I didn't lose 25 pounds at all. I barely lost anything at all. But I came back in a different shape. My body and my face are a different shape, and that really changed my life. Thank you, John Jubilee. Thank you, Energized Health. The website, energizedhealth.com. Watch the free masterclass to learn what happens and how you get involved. Energizedhealth.com. Go to the free masterclass and then type in WAR to get 40% off. When you speak to them, just say WAR and you'll get your 40% off. John Jubilee, thank you. I'll see you at my birthday party next weekend.
I'll see you there, brother.